हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल द सोलफुल डायरी। आज के वीडियो में हम बात करेंगे इस्मत चुगताई की स्टोरी मोल्स के बारे में। इस्मत चुगताई के बारे में पहले ही हम एक वीडियो में डिस्कस कर चुके हैं, जिसका लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में, और जितने भी इस्मत चुगताई के वर्क डिस्कस किए हैं सबका लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में। चलिए शुरू करते हैं आज की वीडियो। चलिए अब स्टोरी को डिस्कस करते हैं। द मोल इज the story of a young landlord named Chaudhary who was an artist and picked his female servant Rani for the sole purpose of being a model for his portrait. The story of Rani, a shameless, illiterate girl who grew up in squalor and is uninhibited in sharing her sexual energy. She is the inspiration of an artist who wants to sculpt her for 5,000 rupees. The mole near her breast is a sign of female sexuality. Rani is very much conscious of the effect it has on all the males she meets and is not afraid to use it to her advantage. She continuously distracts the artist uh, by asking him about the mole and how the other village boys saw it, even though it was a bad spot. The artist is driven crazy by his urge to see the mole through his own eyes and then immortalize it in his painting. But the more he attempts to suppress those sexual impulses, the more disappointed he becomes. In the story, Chughtai points out that it is the perverted eye of the spectator who sexualizes the body of a woman and make it obscene for a woman to take pride in it. Characters: Rani, a beautiful. Chaudhary gives several descriptions of the varying hues of her face, talks about her pretty features such as thick lips, delicate dark cheeks, etc. Knave, she had innocent features due to her young age, just 15 years old. Brave, doesn't back down easily when Chaudhary threatens to beat her. Clever, cheeky, constantly provoking Chaudhary by making sexual and lewd comments. Chaudhary ji, old but not very old, old-fashioned and closeted, constantly get flustered at all the lewd remarks and sexual innuendos Rani would make, easily irritated, constantly gets provoked by Rani and threatens to raise his hand on her. Jealous, he gets very troubled when he hears Rani talking about showing Ratna the mole on her breast, etc. Stigma attached to women who do sex work. Female sensuality. Rani, as a prostitute, finds ways to flirt and tease Chaudhary. Lust and infatuation. Chaudhary gets consumed by all sexual things Rani says and how he tricks him into looking into her cleavage to see the mole on her chest. Sexual predatory. Chaudhary is quite older than Rani, as she is only 15 years of age. Themes: the primary themes in Ismat Chughtai the mole revolve around women's asserted sexuality and the redefinition of the male and female roles within sexual politics. Chughtai challenges societal norms by portraying the female character Rani as openly expressing her desires, owning her sexuality, and even initiating sexual relationship, thus subverting the traditional dynamic of the male-dominated society. The story uses the mole as a potent symbol of this erotic agency and explores the hypocrisy of a society that stigmatizes female desire while repressing it. Female sexual agency. The story centers on Rani, a woman who is uninhibited and proud of her sexuality, symbolized by the mole near her breast. She actively pursues her sexual desires, placing women's sexual needs on an equal footing with men's, challenging patriarchy and societal stigma. Chughtai deconstructs the traditional power dynamics where men are subjects and women are passive others. Rani's bold and authoritative sexuality shifts the definition of the other to the man who is often left frustrated and unsatisfied in the face of her confidence. The symbolism of the mole itself a powerful sexual motive representing Rani's innate eroticism and confidence. She exhibits it with pride, turning a perceived flaw into a badge of honor. The hypocrisy of a genteel society. The story exposes the double standards and hypocrisies of a society that values propriety while suppressing female desire. Critique of repressed male sexuality. In contrast to Rani's empowered sexuality, the male narrator in the story attempts to repress his own desires. This repression leads to his deep frustration and unsatisfied lust, highlighting the ineffectiveness of suppressing such natural impulses. Motives. In Ismat Chughtai, the mole, the primary motive is the mole itself, a powerful symbol of female sexual desire and agency, challenging patriarchal norms by situating the female body as a site of pleasure and control rather than shame. This is reinforced by metaphors of fire, thirst, and heat, which represent unleashed carnal energy and distinguish sex from love. The story also uses the motive of reversing the other, turning traditional gender roles on their head by portraying the female character as the confident subject of her own sexuality, making the men the hesitant observer. The mole as a symbol of female sexuality and agency, a visible and assertive symbol. The mole, a physical mark on Rani's body, is presented as a source of pride and power rather than a feature or to be concealed. Rani openly displays it, making a focal point of her confident sexuality. Shifting sexual politics. The mole signifies the power to choose and assert sexual relationship, positioning the woman as the active subject rather than a passive object. Rani takes charge of her desires and multiple partners. Metaphors of carnality and desire, fire, trust, and heat. Chughtai uses these recurring metaphors to illustrate the inhibited and threatening sexuality of the female body, separation of sex from love. The imagery also serves to separate the raw physical desire of the body from the emotions of love, highlighting that sexual satisfaction is a valid natural part of life for Rani. Reversing to other, shifting the gaze. The story deconstructs traditional power dynamics where women are seen as the other. In the mole, Rani's bold self-obsession, possession on open sexual nature challenges the male gaze and expectations of female subservience, empowerment, and reciprocity. Chughtai empowers Rani by making her the central figure in her sexual relationship, demonstrating a reciprocal dynamic that redefines the patriarchal structure. Symbol. In Ismat Chughtai's short story Mole, the titular mole symbolizes a woman's uninhabited sensuality and sexual freedom, a powerful motive that challenges societal norms by transforming a physical attribute into a declaration of feminine desire and contentment. It serves as a visual representation of a character, Rani's self awareness, sexual agency, and refusal to be defined or controlled by patriarchal expectations or the pity of others, contrasting with the narrator's repressed desires and frustrations. The mole as a symbol, sexual liberation. The mole, particularly Rani's prominent mole near her breast, is a powerful and open symbol of her sexual desire and her unapologetic assertion of her own body and sexuality. Female agency, rather than being a source of shame or something to be concealed, Rani displays the mole with pride, showcasing her awareness of her beauty and her ability to use it to her advantage, defying expectations of submission. Contrasting with the depression, the story creates a stark contrast between Rani's contented, self aware sexuality and the narrator's frustrated, repressed desires. The mole in this context highlights the freedom that comes from acknowledging and expressing one's carnal needs. Challenge to patriarchy. By openly embracing and even flaunting her sexuality, Rani challenges the patriarchal structure that seeks to control and suppress women's desire. The mole becomes a symbol of this subversion. थैंक यू। आई होप आज की वीडियो आपको पसंद आई। कैसी लगे हमें कमेंट करके बताएं और हमें ये भी कमेंट करके बताएं कि आप आने वाली वीडियोस किस टॉपिक पर देखना चाहते हैं। और अगर कोई डाउट्स या सजेशंस है तो वो भी आप कमेंट सेक्शन में ड्रॉप कर सकते हैं। अगर वीडियो अच्छी लगी तो लाइक शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब टू माई चैनल। मिलते हैं कल एक और इन्फॉर्मेटिव वीडियो के साथ शाम 4 बजे। टिल देन कीप वॉचिंग एंड कीप सपोर्टिंग द सोलफुल डायरी। थैंक यू।